A two-star Army general shot to death in Afghanistan Tuesday is being remembered this morning. Major General Harold Greene is the highest-ranking American officer killed in a combat zone since Vietnam. He is being praised as a master of military technology. David Martin is at the Pentagon with more on the deadly attack at Afghanistan's Officer Training Academy. David, good morning.
Good morning. The investigation into how and why this happened is just beginning. But what we know so far is that Major General Greene was gunned down by a man believed to be an Afghan army soldier. In other words, by a supposed ally.
Major General Harold Greene, he went by Harry, was Deputy Chief of the Training and Assistance Command, the organization in charge of training and equipping the Afghan army. It is the linchpin of the American strategy to pull its combat troops out of Afghanistan by the end of this year and turn the fighting over to the Afghans. Greene was one of several U.S. and allied officers inspecting the Afghan military academy. The delegation was mowed down when the alleged shooter opened fire with a machine gun from the window of a nearby building. Before troops assigned to guard the visitors could return fire, Greene had been killed and 8 other U.S. soldiers wounded, 4 of them seriously. A German and an Afghan general also were wounded. U.S. officials say it appears the shooter fired indiscriminately into the crowd and was not deliberately trying to kill an American general.
Afghanistan is still a war zone. It's impossible to completely eliminate that threat, I think.
It was the 3rd so-called insider attack this year, incidents in which men dressed in Afghan army uniforms have opened fire on U.S. and allied troops. There were 48 insider attacks in 2012, but that number was cut to 15 last year and 3 so far this year, in part because of better vetting of Afghan soldiers and in part because the U.S. assigned soldiers specifically to guard against insider attacks.
General Greene was not a combat officer, but an engineer on his first tour of duty in a war zone. He is now one of more than 6,600 American servicemen and women who have lost their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. Charlie?
Thank you, David. It's a tragedy. Figuring out how do you stop people, and despite all precautions, they'll slip through.
These insider attacks, and General Greene's father is 85 years old, still lives in upstate New York, just lost his wife last year. He said it's very hard to lose a child. You have to bury your own son. This is a family that's dedicated themselves to military service, as well as those others.